It's Dan the Zoo Man here, and I just wanted to clarify something that I think is very important. In the debate, Kamala Harris uh, tried to make it appear as though Abraham Lincoln was for them not nominating a Supreme Court justice. She tried to make it a moral issue that Trump is being immoral by nominating a conservative before the election. Here in this video, it is very clear of the history, how Kamala Harris, like all Marxists, rewrote the history of what happened in the time of Abraham Lincoln. Here, Mike Slater on the Mike Slater Show clearly explains how this worked.
Let's try to get some substance here first. I think we got to start off with a little history lesson here about Abe Lincoln. I don't like any lies that that are allowed to live, let alone one about Abe Lincoln. So Kamala was very prepared to share this story.
In 1864, one of the, I think, political heroes, certainly the president, I assume if you also Mr. Vice President, is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was up for re-election. And it was 27 days before the election. And a seat became open on the United States Supreme Court. Abraham Lincoln's party was in charge not only of the White House, but the Senate. But Honest Abe said it's not the right thing to do. The American people deserve to make the decision about who will be the next president of the United States. And then that person can select who will serve for a lifetime on the highest court of our land. And so Joe and I are very clear. The American people are voting right now.
Okay. That didn't happen. Let me just give you the very quick, and now I'll give the backup. The Senate wasn't in session. That's why that seat was not filled. The Senate literally was not in session. If the Senate was in session, there's no doubt about it that Abraham Lincoln would have nominated someone and the Senate would have confirmed it. There was no there's no grand speech that honest Abe, that Honest Abe gave, where he was like, you know what? It's just not the right thing to do. Never happened. The Senate was not in session, period, end of story. Now, here's the full background. Keep in mind that that story, the question was, well, Mike Pence actually asked her directly if she plans on packing the court. And that was her response. Trump needs to bring that up next week, but there may not be a next week. But this is a question that Biden refused to answer last week, and Kamala refuses to answer last night. They will not talk about whether or not they will pack the court. Similarly, they will not answer if any law enforcement groups support them at all. Those are two questions that Chris Wallace bailed Biden out of last week. Anyway, here's the full story of Abraham Lincoln. In an election year, there's been 29 vacancies on the Supreme Court. Right? So in an election year, the last year of someone's term, there's been 29 vacancies. The president has nominated someone each of those 29 times. Just like Barack Obama nominated Gorsuch in his final year. Gorsuch? No, Merrick Garland. Sorry, Merrick Garland. In 19 of those cases, the Senate was the same party as the president. Okay, you with me? So election year, there's 29 times Supreme Court vacancy open. Every single time a president nominated someone. In 19 of those 29 cases, the Senate was the same party as the president, which is the case right now. Right? It's not the case with Barack Obama. In 17 of those 19, they were filled by the Senate just like that. The two that weren't, one of them was George Washington, which is a super interesting story, which we'll say for another day, but that was the first president, so things were a little more up in the air. And the second was actually LBJ's in 1968. His own party did not approve his nominee, again, for other, there was like a little mini scandal going on at the time with the nominee. So that's a different story too. But that was the only real time that the own party did not approve the nominee.
So here we have another clear example of how Democrats misinterpret and misapply history. This is what's going on in American public schools, folks. Wake up.